Hey everybody, it's 8 o'clock Wednesday night, and you got me and the new form of the Mutt and Jeff show with me and my brother G uh, G Douglas Miller. It's Wednesday night. It's In Touch with the Miller Boys, the weekly talk show. We discuss what's on our minds, and usually it impacts what's going on with the African American community in the city of Fresno and the surrounding area. So guess what? This is the first time in about 6 months now I haven't started off a show with vote, 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 and census. Because if you still got your ballot at home, you need to go use it as a coaster. Go get your coffee or your drink, your water bottle, whatever it is. Put them on the table and put your glass right on top of it, because it does you
You're
no
fired. You didn't do your civic duty.
You didn't do it no good. No, they could have voted online. Could have
If
voted
they got their
online.
if they got their ballot still, no.
Could have voted online. They could
Yeah.
have. They could have gone to the vote center. I guess it's not online. They could have went to the vote center and cast their vote in that way. But anyway, if you still got your ballot at home, any of your election materials, you can use it as a coaster. That's what it'd be most effective as now.
Or you can give it. You can give it to the sun. Oh, it's on this side.
Yeah, give it to the sun. What you gonna do? Burn it up?
That's right.
That causes environmental issues, man. We don't want all that smoke in the air. We got enough smoke up there.
Too bad. I'm a bad man.
So, what's going on with you, man? How you feel today, the day after?
Who, me?
Morning after. Who's that song?
Well, you know, I'm kind of heartbroken that all of my European friends are feeling the stresses and the pains of living in a new country. We I said
It's not all your European friends.
so like I said some time ago, we're changing away from being this dictatorial country where we have to listen to only one side and ideas, and now they have to feel the repercussions again. So what comes into mind is like you were saying, what is this idiot go do the last 60 days of his walk?
He got 59 days now.
From here to the end of his term, what is he gonna do?
He's gonna file lawsuits. That's the first thing he's doing, is he filed 3 lawsuits today in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and
Georgia.
So I know he filed 3 lawsuits about an hour and a half ago. So that's what he's gonna do. He's a professional, real life 3-card Molly player. And in America, we just found out what card is the red card. And now that we know what a red card is, and he know that we know what a red card is, what do? That's his dilemma. He's been playing 3-card Molly the whole time. You know how that game is played, right? 2 black cards, show me the red, show me the red, show me the red, show me the red. If we, as the customer, find out what a red card is, the dealer ain't got but 2 things to do. Keep trying to persuade us that we don't really know where it is, although we both know it is, or you got to pay out. He ain't going to pay out. He going to keep playing this shell game until the wheels fall off. And he got 59.
So do you think that the United States is at a place where they would feel comfortable putting a president in jail?
Yes. Here's why. The Republicans have painted themselves into a corner. I guess it ain't all of them, but America has painted the Republican Party into a corner. Because what could have happened, an easy way to do it is had we won the Senate, to put him back up on impeachment charges, impeach his ass, get him out, he will resign before he got impeached, just like Nixon. We got the goods on you, dude. Either you resign or we're going to impeach you. He resigns. Pence then can pardon him, which still is probably going to happen. But then at least America can save face, and Donald Trump and the Republican Party can save face. But the Senate is now, it looks like the Republicans are going to retain the Senate. So they can't impeach him. They have no hammer with the impeachment. So yeah, his ass is, he'll be the first either United States president or former United States president to be indicted on criminal charges. That's going to be his next first.
Do you think he's going to jail?
I don't know if he's going to jail because, he got a lot of money and other people, he got a lot of money and a lot of secrets. I do not know if they're going to be able to uphold him charges on it, but there is very little doubt in my mind that he will be the first American president or first former American president to be indicted on criminal charges. And what that all means, you know as well as I do, just because you get indicted, that don't mean you're going to spend no time behind bars. You can negotiate out, you pay a huge fine and promise never to run for public office again and all kind of different things so that you don't have to put you on a monitor, like they did old boy, especially with COVID now, put him on a monitor, send him home. There's all kind of things. I'm not going to say that he's going to be behind bars, but he will definitely Donald Trump will be indicted on criminal charges at some point in time in the future, unless he dies first.
Federal charges or state charges?
Probably both. Although the federal charges, if he gets indicted on federal charges, he can be not impeached. What is it called? Pardoned. He can be pardoned for the federal charges by either Pence or Biden. Although I don't think Biden would do that. But if he gets brought up on state charges, which I know, what's her name, James, the Attorney General in the state of New York, is it Felicia James? Katrina James?
I have no idea.
It's a sister. It's a black lady. She's been in that office now for 4 years. Letitia James. She can't wait to get her hands on him. She can't wait, and it's all about the money, his charities and all that other kind of stuff. The Trump is basically raping the Trump campaign with money. They got people right now. They have fundraising things going out to his supporters that says, okay, look, the Democrats trying to steal this election, blah blah blah. We need you to send us $25 a night so we can fight back to it. People respond, click on there, and in the fine print it says, not only will you be charged whatever it is you're doing initially, but it will be a recurring charge for the next 4 weeks, not next 4 months, but for the next 4 weeks, and that's in the small print. And so he's gouging his followers right now. They don't even realize it. By the time they do figure it out, he's gonna be off.
But that's not against the law.
It's not against. You're right. It's not against the law. But at some point in time, his followers are gonna say, "Look, this dude, I drank the Kool-Aid, and this dude, he wasn't everything I thought he was supposed to be."
I disagree. I think that they gonna praise him till the wheels fall off, and he might be indicted on some state charges. Federal charges, no. The federal government is never going to act on that level with an ex-president. It will look bad for any and everybody, and them Caucasians ain't gonna do that. They just are not gonna do it. If he was Obama, they would have went and got him. But
so, Gerald, think about this. I got you. When you say Caucasians, you're using Caucasians in descriptions of the Democratic Party synonymously. The Democratic Party is no longer basically white men.
I ain't saying nothing about the Democratic Party.
But that's who would hold him. That's who would hold Trump accountable. Would be the Democratic Party, since they're going to be in office. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, AOC, Rashida Tlaib. I can go on down the line. Old boy from South Carolina.
So what you're saying is that the Democratic Party. I'm not saying the Democratic Party. I said Caucasians, white folks, Europeans. They're not going to hold another European at that level of scrutiny. Not going to happen.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is that this is not European versus European like it has been in the past. Because one side of that ledger is no longer strictly European.
So who's in charge of so let's go your route. Who's in charge of the Democratic Party?
It's changing. It's morphing. It's people of color. It's women. It's the LGBT population. It's the under 40 population.
Joe Biden is the head of the Democratic Party, just like Trump is the head of the Republican Party. And I don't think Joe Biden would go along with doing that to a former president or a sitting president. I don't see it.
You do know that Joe Biden has pledged to only run for one term.
Okay. So Christmas comes in December too. What does that mean?
That means that he has no aspirations as far as going re-upping for another term. So
okay.
Some of the borders and restrictions that he would have, being in that role of being a first-time president, looking for a second term or for a second term, going into another and have to go through the campaign season and have to answer about how he treated the previous president, that goes out the window. And so I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm not saying that Joe Biden may cower down and not do it, but I'm just saying that his mindset is going to be different because he's not campaigning again. And so that was one of the commitments that he's shared with inside of the Democratic Party, is that he basically, in his mind, he sees himself as a savior for the Democratic Party, for not only the Democratic Party, but for the United States of America. He sees himself as a savior. And so he's going to
I can see that. And he wouldn't want to tarnish his legacy by going after another Caucasian man and putting the screws to him and running around have the finger pointed at him saying that you did this to one of our own. No.
So the last time, that's not, it has happened historically, Joe. That's what happened with Nixon. You do know the whole thing with Nixon, right?
Did Nixon break the law?
He did. Breaking.
So how come they stopped? How come they stopped one step before sending him to prison?
He never was indicted because the Democratic Party was pushing. They had all the evidence. They had people who was actually part of Watergate who explained. They found those tapes of him talking about Watergate and stuff. So they had the hooker on tape. So what happened is the Republicans up to that time was saying, no, it's a witch hunt, until them damn tapes came out. And when the Republicans then heard the tapes, Barry Goldwater and I forget the other gentleman's name, basically had a conversation with Nixon. Hey, look, man, this is going to be bad. We can't defend you any longer. We've done all we can do. We got these tapes. We can't get away from these tapes. So we suggest to you that you resign before you get indicted on these breaking and entering charges. And so that's why he was not impeached and removed.
Because the fellow Caucasians gave him an out.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's got to play out in this situation. And I don't see Donald Trump getting an out. I don't. You know who messed that up for him? Bush Jr. When Obama let Bush Jr. go on his war crimes and things that he was doing, the Democratic Party still is reeling from that. They thought that Obama should have went after him, made the charges, and then let it play itself out in court. Like I said, just because you get indicted, that doesn't mean that you're ever going to spend time behind bars. But it does mean that you get labeled as a criminal. And so the Democratic Party has never let that page turn. I just don't believe that all the stuff that Donald Trump has done, I cannot see the Caucasians in America, the women, the gays, the blacks, the Latinos. I just can't see them letting him off. I see them making the charges, Maybe it's minimal charge like they did with impeachment. They made minimal charges in his impeachment case. 3, I think, when it should have been 12 or something like that. They make minimal charges to put it in there, and then that gives them leverage about how they deal with him futuristically. So I just, that's my own gut feeling. I don't know that from any, and I don't have no conversations with anybody inside any circles, but just what I'm watching and what I'm taking in, I think they're going to make an example of this dude. In particular, here's another indicator. If he's on his P's and Q's the next 59 days, maybe they consider doing what you're saying. But if he acts a fool, like Donald Trump has prone to do, act a fool in these next 59 days, he's gonna have to leave. He's gonna have to go. He's gonna have to be use his dual citizenship with his wife in Slovakia in reverse, because he can't be here. He can't be here, and I don't think he can go abroad either, because he got too many. There's too many people abroad that he owes. He owes either money to, or he owes debt to. Not favors to, I guess I should say, not debt, but favors to. But it's gonna be interesting. I'm in the caboose. I'm along for the ride, man, because this is gonna be the next 59 days. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible.
No, he's gonna be a powerless pigeon with no wings, no feathers. He gonna squawk, and they just gonna look at him and walk on by him, and he's gonna be a disgraced individual. And that's about the size of Donald Trump. These folks that are following him out here, they might pitch a bitch, make it stink, but yeah.
It's funny to me. Donald Trump got, and I stayed up late last night, unfortunately. But he said it's a shame that they still counting ballots in Georgia and in Pennsylvania. They need to stop counting ballots now because it's not an election. But he wanted them to finish the counts in Wisconsin and I think it was Michigan,
Arizona, because he's behind in Arizona.
Yeah. So there was two states where he was up slightly. That he was up, Pennsylvania and Georgia.
He was up in Georgia, and he was up in North Carolina, because last night at 11:30, he walked out there and told everybody that he had won those states.
Yeah.
When he actually didn't, and so.
And you know the word is that there's a real likelihood that he's going to lose Georgia, because the ballots that they got coming in now is all in the Atlanta metropolitan area that they're counting. And his lead has gone from 600,000 votes or something like that earlier today down to less than 100,000. I want to say it's like at 60,000 or something like that. So it's a huge dent, and they still got 6 or 7% of the ballots that they still need to count. So they said it's not off the radar that he loses Georgia. Pennsylvania, they think that Biden is going to close because of the ballots are coming out of Philadelphia County, which is where Philadelphia is, but they don't think it's a big enough. He has to win like 70-something%, 80-something% or something like that of the Philadelphia ballots that come in order to close the gap. Whereas in Georgia, it's down to where it's basically.
If he wins Arizona and Nevada, he got 270, and it's over with.
Yeah, it's over. So he already got Arizona. Arizona got called for him. So they're waiting on Nevada now. So he's at Biden is at 264, and he needs the six whatever they call 6 slavery votes in Nevada, and he's at 270. Hey, you know the irony of this? Now this is funny. I don't know if this is true or not, but one of my radio shows, they were talking about this today. They said here is the ultimate irony in this, that the reason why Joe Biden is going to get to 270 easily is because he picked up one vote in Nebraska, in Omaha. And they said that's where Trump froze out all them people. They left them at the airport, airstrip. And so it's like, isn't that irony that he left them people out there to freeze, and he don't get that one, what is it called? Not congressional
delegate.
The electoral college delegate. He lost that one, and the other one is that he basically shit on McCain in Arizona, and the
Yeah,
whole state of Arizona then flipped on him. He said
yeah.
those could be um, his two political nightmares when analysis all comes in as to what happened.
Well, that's what happens when you punch a bully in the mouth. You know, they have to straighten up and fly right. You know, you start knocking out teeth and swelling up lips and closing eyes, and you know the bully then has to have a different game plan. You know, you got to move in a different direction because most bullies are punks,
So
and
think
Donald
about
Trump
this.
is a punk.
Mhm. So think about this. The last state in the union that approved for the Dr. Martin Luther King holiday, Arizona, in 1983, I think it was, or 84, 3, something like that, too, is going to be the state that gives the United States of America their first black female vice president. Think of the irony of that 40 years later.
Well, you know that's the way we all hope that the game plan plays out. You know, we all hope that everybody can, you know, we can get back to being one single human race instead of, you know, white folks, black folks, brown folks, and be labeled and known as these different things. We need to, you know, but you know, I'm starting to bend a lot the way that you used to speak about, you know, capitalism. That's you know, we're you know, folks want their ends. They want that paper, and they'll sell their mamas down the river to get that paper.
So
That's
one of the
all.
things that
That's all from a learned history, learned behavior.
capitalism, unfortunately, has been perverted to where money equals power in our society. And I think that if we could take the power, separate the power and influence that comes along with money, then capitalism is not necessarily evil alone by itself. It's the way that's been perverted. Um, you know, like you're talking earlier about some of our European friends, and actually even some of our Latino friends, as I've been watching on Facebook, some of the conversations that's been going on, not entering any of them, but the conversations going back and forth. It's all based off of money. Had a long conversation, very close friend of mine, and I asked him because we've got Trumper friends that's in our circle, and I had that conversation with him because I'm involved in politics and my friendship is more important to me than having political differences. But I asked him, "Hey man, what's up with our boys supporting Trump?" And he says it's real simple, Darren. It's all about business. They're small business owners, and the policies of the Democratic Party unfortunately impacts small businesses negatively. Taxations, regulations, those type of things. And so I'm like, okay, that makes sense. If I got a small business and this political party is impacting my small business and my way of keeping my house and I got that. But here's the other part that's missing with that as I listen to it. It wouldn't be that way if we tax the 1% in the way that we should. We gotta have taxes. This society, the way it's set up, we have to pay taxes. We got to get taxes from somebody. That's how we pay for our schools. That's how we pay for fire, all of our safety, our hospitals, our roads, our lights, you know, the street lights, those type of things. That's how we pay for that, is out of those taxes. What has happened in our system, in our society, is we, the common folks, pay all the taxes to take care of what's called the commons. All those things I just talked about. Whereas the one percenters, the wealthy, the billionaires and trillionaires, if they got any trillionaires, have got all the tax loops where they don't have to pay taxes. Donald Trump pays $750 in taxes. I don't think I had a $750 tax bill ever in my entire life. Even when I had a part-time job, I paid more taxes than that. Those are the types of things that those are the types of holes that need to be filled in. Those billionaires and trillionaires need to be paying, those $1 trillion corporations need to be paying their fair share of taxes just like the rest of us. And that's one of the biggest disappointments that I have last night when I went to sleep is that Prop 15 was failing in California. We bitch and complain about how bad our public schools are. We bitch and complain about not having green spaces for parks and recreation. We bitch and complain about not our police services being inadequate, our fire services being inadequate, those type of things. But here's an opportunity for us to raise money on Californians who make over, not even Californians, on corporations and businesses that make over $3 million a year. Not homeowners and us common folks. This is about the wealthy paying their fair property taxes to be able to underwrite and fund those common resources that we need in our communities. And it's failing in California. I just can't understand the mindset behind that. We criticize on one end.
Well, the mindset is that the poor people, the common people, they all want to be like Mike. They all want to be like LeBron. Yeah. They all want to be like IBM. They all have inspired to be like Apple. They all inspire to be like Amazon, not understanding that you're contributing. Like Walmart. They don't understand that there has to be a common goal and a common good for everybody. You just can't take. And our society now has been educated into to wanting. Everybody wants to have the big nice car. Everybody wants to have the this, the that, and the other. It's no different than in nature. If you watch animals in nature, the peacock wants to be the biggest and the prettiest peacock, so that he can lure the female peacock. The silverback gorilla wants to be the biggest and the strongest and be different, so that he can lure. The elk wants to have the biggest home. There's no difference. The problem is that we barter with the things that we should covet the most, and we put we're humans and we have intelligence, and instead of putting emphasis on all these superficial things, we should be putting our interest in everything, monies and intelligence and energies, into other things, instead of just trying to capture the big nickel.
I got you. Hey, have you seen that meme comparison between LeBron James and I think it's Sue Bird? I think that's who it is, in the WNBA. They've been professional basketball players, NBA, WNBA, for the same amount of time, 17 years. They both have 4 championships. They have similar MVPs and first teams and all that kind of stuff. But when you look at their paycheck, LeBron got $32 million for this past year. She got like $350,000 or something like that. So I hear what you're saying. When you say they want to be like Mike, they want to be like LeBron, I got you. But our system, that's what I mean. And then what do? Because LeBron is the highest paid NBA player, we put him on a pedestal. He could be an asshole. He's not. I'm not just saying as an example. He could be an asshole, but because he's the highest paid NBA basketball player, he's put up on a pedestal because of not who he is, but because of the amount of money that he has. And so,
yeah, but that's conditioning. That's the social conditioning and construct that America buys into, the free market. That's all a system of capitalism. Well, if everybody is running around like that in the free market and gouging and taking, we're gonna be, that's why the homeless crisis is going up. Everybody can't, and all these people that have these small businesses, they're going to go out of business. You know why? Because the homeless people are going to run in there and take all their stuff. It's going to be like on Judge Dredd when they pop up out the Taco Bell, run in the Taco Bell and steal all the food. Yeah. That's a precursor to a society that is out of control. Right. And people, they don't understand, my thinking, but like I said, when they put Trump put the Amy Barrett Coed on the thing, and my question was, I wonder who's going to kill her, because when you oppress and suppress a person long enough, they have to act out. If you're hungry, you're going to take the risk to feed yourself. You're going to take a risk to shelter yourself.
That's a
And
survival instinct.
correct. But when you're forced into a survival instinct on a daily basis, or you're made to feel, inferior on a daily basis, something's got to give,
But what you're talking about happens on a regular basis. That goes back to the PTSD that they're saying the kids that are living in the inner city go through. They're in survival mode for most of their lives. When your body goes through, it's in survival mode all the time. Your adrenaline levels are always up. There's other types of things, chemical things that happen in your body that never comes down.
Right.
So you're always at, on a scale of 1 to 5, you're always at 4. So you're always amped up. So that's how you respond to stuff. Whereas normal, quote unquote, normal people, we go through peaks and valleys. We get up to 4 because something bad is going to happen. Our adrenaline gets up. We're fight or flight. Well, when we get home, we're able to relax. Think about a person who's on the street. They're always at a 4 level, even when they're asleep, because they're worried about somebody coming and messing with them. They're worried about somebody coming and taking their stuff.
Well, they don't sleep, and that is a technique that the police department and authority figures use, because that's been taught to them to force people into making mistakes. That's a tool that is used, forcing people into survival mode so that they make mistakes. And then when they make mistakes, then you can come behind them and fix the mistake, by either locking them up or fining them. And
Exactly.
that is a tool to garner revenue in our current society. Yes.
I've never heard that. That makes sense.
But these are. I mean, we've done 2 or 3 shows with Murray and your Felipe.
Oh,
Yeah,
Felipe. Okay.
Felipe. Yeah, when they talked about the 5 or 6 different indicators of a child that's under stress and how they act and what they do. They are less.
Talking about ACEs. It's more than that. It's like 15, 13,
Okay.
15 ACEs. Acute childhood. I forget what the E stands for.
Yeah. So if you have to feed yourself and you have to find shelter on your own, and and if you grow up like that, then you're running in survival mode. So sooner or later, that which has been running in that survival mode starts to take more and more risks. That's why you have these kids out here running up in people's houses. That's why you have these kids out here shooting at 15 years old. That's committing homicides. It has nothing for me. That's early childhood trauma is the energy that makes the clock tick. Not the fact that the police department is out there chasing people down, but that goes back to what I would say about defunding the police. Take a portion of that money and put it into these activities again. Like you said, funding summer jobs and things of that nature so that these kids can have some type of self-worth.
But that's how dumb our local police department is. They won't even have that conversation about Prop 15. They have their hand out. They want more and more and more. We need more officers. Give us more money. And here's an opportunity for them to be able to get a new funding source, a new revenue source, no revenue stream, and they won't even support it.
Well, because they're on top, they don't have to support it. It's back to, like I said about Donald Trump. They're on top. They believe they're on top until people start taking shots at the police. But they believe that they're an immovable force. So they don't believe that anybody's going to come and do that to them. Like Donald Trump doesn't believe that he's going to be indicted. He doesn't believe that somebody will actually come after him. That's where our society is and is going. So
remember, I still believe that one of the biggest factors of change in that mindset is that now there are more Americans under the age of 40 than over the age of 40. And so if the people under 40 are all stressed out and looking for a banana and a piece of bread, they're not though. All of our people under 40 ain't stressed out. We got some people under 40 that's doing very well. We have people.
Okay, let's parse words then. If a quarter of the people, or the quarter of the population that is under 40, is stressed out, looking for something to eat and a place to live, and have to live on the streets and do these types of things, society is not going to be pleasant.
Agree. I just think that the mindset of what happens previous about, as you said, the Europeans allowing other Europeans off is going to change. And that's going to be the biggest factor towards that change, is that we are a younger society. And we're going to be a younger society for quite a while, for at least the next 20, 30 years, maybe even 40 years. And so I know that's going to have a huge impact on the way that Americans handle business, the way we operate.
Who scares the Republican Party more so? What activist group scares the Republican Party more so than any other?
You mean politically or just community-wise?
It's a little bit of both.
In the community, they're very fearful of Black Lives Matter. And I think that the reason why they're afraid of Black Lives Matter is not because it's black folks that's in Black Lives Matter, but because Black Lives Matter has become a multicultural, multi-generational, multi-characteristic organization. It's not just black.
What you're saying is partially true. During the day, the infiltrators are hollering Black Lives Matter, but at night, then they suit up and they put on their black hats and their stocking caps and their masks, and their little white hands stick out the end of their little uniforms, and they turn into Antifa. And Antifa's going around fucking these people up, beating them in the head, burning their stuff down, doing all those kinds of things. And you can shake that big melon if you want to. And hype. So that is what?
That's hype. Do you know what Antifa stands for? Do you know what Antifa stands for?
Anti-fascist, maybe.
Right. Anti-fascist. So anybody, just in theory, who would be against Antifa is pro-fascism. And who in this society is pro-fascism? The Donald Trumps of the world.
The Republican Party, right? And the Donald Trump followers.
So you're saying they're doing the bait and switch. They're supporting Antifa and what they're doing, but put him on blast in public, but they're encouraging their activities in the evening?
I don't know what the hell you just said.
And I don't understand what you're saying either.
So listen. So if you have the Republican Party and the 1% rich folks, which is the antithesis of fascism, that's
Correct.
where Donald Trump is trying to take this country, with
Correct.
him being the leader of the fascist sect.
Correct.
Your folks that you're talking about, the people under 40 that are the rebel rousers, are the Antifas. Ain't nobody 50, 60.
No, dude.
Yes, dude. Yes, dude.
So think about what you just said, Gerald. The group is called Anti-Fascism.
Against fascism. And Donald Trump is a fascism. It's fascism. I ain't got time to educate. I hope everybody else out there get what I'm saying.
I'm way confused.
You'll catch up. You'll get it in a couple years. But the government as it stands right now, the Donald Trump and the Republican are trying to take us down the fascist lane. Correct. Black Lives Matter is standing in the gap for black and brown people wanting equal treatment and to stop the police from brutalizing black and brown people.
It's bigger than that.
As they go out and protest these issues of the police violence against black and brown people, they are infiltrated by these younger Caucasians in an Antifa state of mind. And when the black and brown people of Black Lives Matter go home, that's when the Antifa folks wave their flags and start tearing up shit.
Okay, so can you give me a specific incident where that happened?
Downtown Portland, Oregon.
No. Okay. So that was as much as you say that as Antifa, that is also the militias who were taking and putting garbs on and infiltrating Antifa to make it look like it's Antifa that's doing things. Same thing happened in Kenosha.
Well, that is a part of the strategy. I wouldn't say that that's not a true statement, but it is not. My point is, it's not the African American and Hispanic people that are waving the flags of Black Lives Matter. Sun go down, they go home.
But you know why? But you understand why Black Lives Matter is such a threat to the Donald Trumps of the world.
Yeah, because the Donald Trumps of the world are racist.
Correct. They're racist. Okay. But that group, Black Lives Matter, has nothing to do, or I shouldn't say nothing. It has as much to do with sexism, misogyny. So the LGBT community is part of Black Lives Matter. Women's groups are part of Black Lives Matter. Native Americans are part of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter has now become an umbrella for the underserved, the disenfranchised groups, societal groups, are now coming all under one umbrella. When did, and this is just me talking, when did Malcolm X become dangerous?
Malcolm X became dangerous when he came back from Mecca, and he was preaching a one united front, encompassing everybody.
When did the Black Panthers become?
His philosophies were changing into a more economic structure of oneness without the federal government being involved with everyday planning and plotting.
Correct. When did Black Panthers become dangerous?
Black Panthers, they became dangerous when the police department didn't understand their philosophies.
Correct.
And wanted to attack them, and did the raids, and I believe it was Philadelphia, and killed the Black Panthers, and they also did a raid in Los Angeles, and killed Black Panthers in Los Angeles. So as a fundamental survival mode, the Black Panthers were ready to go to arms against what was perceived as the federal government at the time, the FBI and Hoover.
So I don't know a whole bunch about the police raid. They killed a bunch of folks in Los Angeles other than it happened. But the one that happened in Philadelphia with Fred Parker, he was only like 19 years old, 20 years old, young cat. But if you look at the rallies that he was talking at that particular time, I'm sorry, not Fred Parker, Fred Hammond. His name escapes me now, but that's not Parker. But anyway, Hampton, there you go, Fred Hampton. So if you look at the crowds that he was speaking to, multicultural, multiracial. He wasn't talking to just black folks. Black folks was at the forefront of what he wanted to get accomplished for was good for black people, but he was talking to masses.
I'm not saying that Black Lives Matter only encompasses black and brown people. It like Oprah said, you gotta have to have a few good white folks. Okay, but what I'm saying is Antifa is white folks fighting other white folks, and that's what I was trying to explain to you about the charge of the Civil War a couple weeks ago. It ain't gonna be white folks against black folks. It's gonna be young white folks against other white folks with differences of opinions and ideas. I don't like fascist people, so I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna break the corporate store windows of Gucci and Saks Fifth Avenue and Macy's and run in there and take all the stuff out of there.
Okay, the picture is way bigger than that. And I understand what you're saying, but the picture is way, way, way bigger than that. And what has happened in American society is that when African Americans, when black folks, when Negroes in particular, start dealing with issues globally, and they're not just dealing with things that impact the African American folks, the black folks, the Negroes, when King started talking about getting out of his lane about civil rights, that type of stuff, started talking about the Vietnam War, start dealing with the trash people, the folks in Memphis, which was more white men than it was black men. When he started doing those type of things, that's when he became dangerous and needed to be extinguished.
King became dangerous when he started telling black folks to spend their dollars with black folks. King became dangerous when he understood that an economic struggle and fight was to keep your folks together and not spend with other people. That's when King became dangerous.
That's not true, Gerald. You need to go and take a look at Dr. King's life. He became a threat when he started speaking out about the Vietnam War and when he started moving into what he called his beloved community. Not his black community, but his beloved community, which encompassed all people, all races, all religions, moving in the same direction. That's when he became dangerous, and that's when he got killed. So I just encourage you to do some more research on that component.
I encourage you to do some more research and look into the fundamentals of what we're talking about and understand that it's economics. It ain't got nothing to do with everybody coming together. When you stop the flow of their economic of the corporate structure's economics, then you become a threat. You can huddle people up all you want and run in a circle all you want. You can march all you want. They encourage you to come to their cities and march because you're going to spend money in their shops, in that city's shops, in that city's hotel structure, and all of those different things. They want that. They don't have a problem with that. But when you talk about holding back money from their pockets and their small businesses and their corporate structures, then you have a problem.
Dr. King shut down Montgomery, Alabama for damn near a year. Their bus line in Montgomery, Alabama for damn near a whole entire year. And at the end of that whole entire year, he was not killed. He was not brutalized for that. They brought his black ass back to the table and they negotiated out a settlement that appeased and took care of the African American folks that were there in that town. That if you're talking about shutting down something and that makes you a danger,
like you just told me, I encourage you to understand more about the economic fight and structure that goes on the undercurrent of what really makes this American society tick. They don't give a damn about black people walking. They give a damn about black people spending their money on that bus line to put money in the other people's pockets.
Agree, but that didn't get King killed. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you, but that is not
okay.
That didn't get him killed. That action of shutting down the economic engine of a particular city didn't get him killed. It was when he branched out, got out of his lane, criticizing the United States government about that Vietnam War and the beloved community component that he was moving forward is what got him killed.
Okay.
Like Malcolm X, like you said, when he came back before he went to Mecca, blue-eyed devil, white folks ain't shit. We need to do our economic. We need to spend our dollars inside of Harlem, and we need to take care of one person. He goes to Mecca, prays with Muslims of all colors, all shades, all languages, comes back as a different person after he does his Hajj, comes back, and then he is no longer preaching black, 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 black only. Black, black, black should be the center, but it can't be only. Not when we're living in America. That's when he became dangerous. His message now is not just affecting, those messages are not just affecting black people, it's affecting everybody, whether it be economics, whether it be church, education, whatever. There is a larger scope. And those people, think about, have you ever looked at any of the notes or J. Edgar Hoover, his surveillance tapes and notes?
No.
Okay, so you know he was surveilling, in particular, Dr. King and Malcolm X, and a whole bunch of other folks, Black Panthers, a whole bunch of other folks. You need to go in there and listen to some of the things that he says about these gentlemen and about the time they get killed, the transformation and how he views them as being dangerous because of their outreach. Not their outreach in the ghetto at the black folks, but their outreach in whole society. So it's multifaceted, and that whole thing is huge, absolutely humongous. So anyway, one of the things, can we switch subjects real quick?
Of course we can.
It's still politics, but it's local. So we had some people last night in Fresno County, and it was all women, in particular African-American women, who won races last night. There's going to be some names that you may not have ever heard of, didn't know anything about them. I want to make sure that I acknowledge them as well. Sean Brooks, our cousin, was elected last night to the Central School Board. She'll be the first African-American woman on that particular board. Yolanda Moore, who you probably have never heard of, may have seen her name around on signs and stuff. Young African-American, she's in her early 40s. She was elected as the first African-American to serve on Clovis Unified School Board last night, which is amazing because she had very little support and help because she got into the race late. So I want to make sure I acknowledge her. To the north of us, Anita Evans, older African-American lady, a mature African-American lady, beat an African-American man on the Madera City Council. She beat him well. She got 75% of her vote. I want to make sure that I acknowledge Anita. And then out in Dos Palos, there's actually two African-Americans out in Dos Palos that got elected last night. Katina Austin, who was a longtime educator, got elected to the Dos Palos School Board. And right now it looks like a gentleman by the name of Marcus Porter is going to be elected to the Dos Palos City Council out in Dos Palos. And so those are the 5 names that I have locally. I got to do some more research in some of these other races. Unfortunately, last night I lost my race to remain on Fresno County Board of Education. So I will not be serving that capacity the first of the year. I'll be doing other things with my other political hats on, but I will no longer be an elected official moving forward. And so I haven't talked to you about that either. I'm assuming you knew already. But there's some other folks. There's a couple of gentlemen who's in contention in Merced. There's a couple of folks out that already serve out in Los Banos. One of them, Miss Deborah Lewis, won another term last night. So we've got African Americans. Brady Jenkins Jr. out in Fireball just won his 3rd term, or is winning right now to serve his 3rd term on the Fireball City Council. So shout out to Brady. And so one of the things I want to do, I'm going to be working on for the first of the year, is to identify all the African American elected officials here in the area. And be able to see if we can't galvanize and create a support system through BAPAC, Black American Political Association in California, which I now serve as the Central California Regional Director. And so I'm going to try to galvanize and get everybody together to see if we can't build a network and a support system for African Americans who want to run for office and those who are elected newly, so they understand what's going on. And then, the people who have already been in office for quite a while, making sure that they know that they got a support and a bridge to be able to help and support them. So shout out. Black folks although our numbers are I think we're single digits in the county as well as the city. We're small in number, but there's some people out there that's representing us very, very, very well. I want to make sure I shouted them out tonight. So are you here in town or are you up north?
I'm here in town.
Okay. What is the political scene in up north, Sacramento area?
I have no idea.
You don't follow it all? I know they got one brother up there. I can't think of his name. That's out in the East Sacramento area. That's on the. He's a California representative, assembly. He's on the assembly. Who they were trying to get out of office. He kind of plays both sides of the ledger, and it's not working out for people that he's supposed to serve. So anyway, we got about 5 more minutes. What's another topic you want to discuss?
Oh, I don't know. What was I was thinking of something earlier, but most of the conversations circle around politics and what's going on with politics and what it's going to look like in the future. And I like to razz my Republican friends and tell them that they better get their shit together because Kamala Harris is getting ready to run the Department of Justice, oversee that, and she gonna tear some folks And two, all that police shooting and corruption that's going on, that was going on under Donald Trump, it ain't gonna happen. I don't believe that that's gonna happen, and that usually sparks a pretty interesting conversation, because the wicked don't believe that they're wicked, and so hey, it is what it is.
Okay, so check this out. Just real briefly, talking real last thing on politics. There's 4 states that's remaining to be called right now. Georgia with 16 electoral votes, Nevada with 6, North Carolina with 15, Pennsylvania with 20. And right now they're saying that Nevada is leaning towards Biden, so that's 6. He's at 234 or 264 now. That would give him 270. And then the other 3 are leaning right now towards Trump: Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. If you add up all of those states, that's 31, 51. He is at 214 right now. So plus 51, that would be 265. He can't make it.
Well, if Biden makes it and gets his Nevada and Arizona, he's at 270 and he wins.
He
If
got
Biden,
it. Arizona's already his. They gave him Arizona earlier today.
okay, so if he makes those 2, then he makes it to 270. If he doesn't make it to 270, there's a provision for that called states blocks or something, and it goes into a whole different issue. I heard that on the radio, and I wasn't sure, and I wasn't listening that intently to the conversation. But there's provisions that are made for that, and I don't want to see Trump removed, because if you think Trump is crazy, then you wait till Pence get in there. A lot of people don't understand it, and I don't know if I said it on this show, that Pence was the governor when he passed the law that says that you can overcome police resistance with your own resistance. So in Indiana, where he was a governor, you could basically shoot a police officer.
Oh no, I didn't know about that. I do know that he screwed up the. They had their own one state AIDS epidemic because he refused to. There was something he refused to do. That's just a general health practice with HIV, the transmission of HIV and AIDS, and he refused to do it based on religion. And they had a huge spike back in the 90s.
Well, that's what you're getting ready to find. You're getting ready to find that these what are called evangelicals are going to start believing in this Jesus Christ theory and making people lives miserable based on their understanding and interpretation of how everybody else should live in society. And Trump kind of put a nail in that when he put this chick on the Supreme Court, and that's why he's so eager to try to throw all these lawsuits in, because he's appointed all these different federal judges all over the place. But yeah, it's gonna be tough times in some aspects of life going forward because of that, and then in other aspects, we'll see what Biden and Kamala Harris do.
So Donald Trump cannot become president without some type of legal action, because even if he wins the 4 remaining states, he still don't get to 270. He only gets to 261. I'm sorry, 265. So he can't, even if he wins these 4 states that's still out there, he can't not win the presidency. All Biden's got to do is win 1 more state and it's done. And he is down to 0.6% difference in Georgia. They're at 98% reporting. Nevada, Biden is up right now by 8,000 votes, and they got 75% reporting there. North Carolina, Trump is up by that is 80,000 votes, 80,000 votes. They're at 94% reporting. In Pennsylvania, he is up 200,000, no, 200 minus 4. So 160,000 votes in Pennsylvania, he's up with 89% reporting. So yeah, Trump can, no matter what happens with these states, whatever comes in and whoever they call them for, If they call all 4 of these for Trump, Trump cannot still win the presidency. He's gonna have to. It's gonna have to go to the House of Representatives for them to name the president. And if that happens, then he will become the president. Because right now, it doesn't go to House of Representatives. It goes back. There's some kind of way the states are involved in it. I forget what the rules are on that. But it's already,
every state gets 1 vote.
Yeah, and it's like 28-22 now, or 27-23, Republican versus Democrat. So anyway, all right, we're up against it. So real quick, my update with Mom. She's doing better. She's still getting adjusted to her new environment. She's doing well. We're hoping maybe the next couple of weeks we'll be able to get her back home. So thank everybody for your prayers and your questions and blessings that you're sending to both my parents. My dad's doing well also. So, Gerald?
Yeah, for the people that are in the condition that we're in out there, let us know, and hopefully your parents are doing well if you still have your parents, or if they're ill or sick. It is pretty traumatic for the people that are in the family. So I don't wish this on anybody. It's a pretty traumatic situation. Keep your head down. For my folks, my kin folks that look like me in Fresno, stop shooting each other. Come on, man, grow up. Really, really, goodness gravy. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that right there, and I'm gonna say love, peace, and hair grease, and meet your fellow man with a greeting and a smile, and keep it moving, keep it moving.
So God willing, we'll see everybody back here next Wednesday at 8 o'clock for In Touch with the Miller Boys. Until then, peace,
love, peace.